Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Smabuti beach tent sunshade. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. Let's get this open. So this comes with a carrying case with a handle. Looks like there are some instructions sewn in here. This is made of polyester. Let's see if I can get these to show up on camera easily. So I'll show the instructions here. You can pause the video if you want to read through them more detailed. But as long as you don't lose this case, you should have the instructions with yours. So this looks like a pretty basic tent setup, although this is a sunshade, so it's not exactly like a tent, but here's the tent itself. This is the material. So this is a waterproof polyester material, okay? And then it has poles. And I'm just going through this on my bench real quick to show some of these things in detail, and then I'm going to go outside and set it up. So these are the poles. So these are 8mm fiberglass poles, and these are typical of what you would find in a tent. So they have elastic in the middle, and then they slip over each other like that. And these can be incredibly strong, but they can break in heavy wind and stuff. So you do want to make sure you have your tent tied down properly. But these things can flex quite a bit before they break. So there should be two poles here, I think. They're kind of intertwined. I'll pull those apart when I get them outside. Then inside of here, we're probably going to find some stakes. Yes, here's a stake bag. So here are the stakes, and here are the guy wires. So these have these plastic adjusters on them. They're very common on tents. So I'll see if I can show here how this works. Let me untie this a little bit. So you want the knot down, and we'll take this loop on the opposite side of the knot and we'll pull on this. Like so. So you'll have it like this. So this is going to stake into the ground, and this other end is going to tie onto the beach tent. And then what you want to do is take the plastic piece, and I like to pull down on this one that's continuous from top to bottom, and you want to slide this up to tighten the string. So this is an adjuster to tighten those strings. And I will also show this on the tent, but I just wanted to show it on camera here if you're confused at how these work. So those are all the parts. I'm going to bundle all this up. I'll take it outside and I'll set it up. Okay, I'm out in my yard. I'm going to start setting this up. So I'm going to take these poles, separate them out, and then so I'm going to put one pole on each corner. I'll place the start at the pole on the corner itself. So this tent is going to have a sleeve here, and I'm going to put the pole in the sleeve, and I'll run it down the sleeve, and I'll run it down on each side, and then in the middle it will be open. Of course, there's a little breeze right now working against me. I'm going to stake down each corner on the one side. I want to show this on the end before I get it all put together, but the tent stake will go in this hole on the very outside, and then the pole will go on this inside here. So I've come out the top. I'm going to cross over the middle and go through the sleeve on the other side. Okay. I'll do the same on the opposite side. Now I'm going to stick the pole in that hole I was talking about earlier on one side, and I'll push the pole through and I'll stick it in the hole on the other side, like so. And now I'll do the opposite side. Okay, now I'm going to tie the middle. I'm going to lift it over the poles to tie this. I'll just tie it like I'm tying shoes. Now I'm going to stake all four corners, and I'll pull those out so it's tight. So the basic structure is up now. One thing to point out is that you typically want the open side away from the sun. So I'm in the northern hemisphere, so I'd actually want this facing north, but it's currently facing south, and I just did that because I want light in here for my video, and I'm just demonstrating it right now, but typically I'd want this turned the opposite direction. So you could potentially use this on a calm day, but if the wind picks up, that could damage it. So I like to have the guy wires out, and I'll show those. So it has these loops here. We're going to pass the cord through it, and then I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm going to use 2 half hitches if you know your knots, but any knot should do here. Then on the other end, as I described before, opposite the knot, I'll pull this out. So now I have this on here. I'm going to pull this at a 45-degree angle from the tent, so it's in line with the poles, and I'll stake it to the ground. When I put the stake in, I don't want the stake straight up and down. I want to angle it a little bit so the force is pulling this way. If you do it like this, it'll pull out. So now if I want, I can hold the cord here and pull up on the plastic to tighten it, like so. That will make it very sturdy. So I'm going to do the other 3 sides now. Okay, so it's all set up. So I'm around 6 foot tall. I'll go show laying in here. As you can see, I easily have room to lay in here. So I could have another 6-foot person on either side of me. I could have 2 adults and a few kids. You could put 4 adults in here too. You'd probably be touching each other. But so let's look at some of the details here. So here's one of those stakes going in at an angle. Here's where I tied it off here. Here's where I tied it in the middle. Let's go inside. This is a nice feature here. Now I have a nice breeze coming through here, but if you didn't, you could hang a fan from here. You could also hang a light from here. So if you're using this at night, you're not using it as a shade. Maybe you're using it for a little bit of rain protection. You can hang a light there. Now this is a waterproof fabric, but if you look here, this edge, if rain comes off here, it's going to collect on here. So you're not going to want to use this in a downpour. I mean, if this is all you have, it might be better than nothing. But if there's a light rain or sprinkles, this might keep you dry and it might get a little wet on the outside, but it might not be a big issue. This is mostly to protect you from the sun. So that's the Smabuti Beach Tent Sunshade. I love being outside, but I don't like when the sun is blaring down on me. I think this is a great option to take to the beach so you can stay out of the sun. Even if you're wearing sunscreen, the sun can penetrate that. This is a great way to keep the sun off. I like that this is open on 3 sides, so it should have lots of airflow. So this is around 82 inches by 82 inches by about 5 feet in the middle. So this is plenty of room for a couple people. You could also put your cooler in there to keep your cooler cool. Probably also have a portable fan in mind and some food, things like that. And this was also very easy to put up. It took me a little longer because it was the first time I'm doing it and I'm also filming it. But if you practice a few times, you can get this up and down very quickly. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye. So to take it down, I'm going to pull all of the stakes from the outside. And those are just from the guy wires. I'll untie the middle. I'll take the poles out of each side. So I'm going to take them out at the base on each side so I can pull the poles out. Looks like I lost a stake on the one. There we go. Now I can pull the poles out and I can fold them up. Now these are probably going to get separated. They can get snagged on things when you're pulling them out. Okay, I'm putting those in the pull bag. Okay, so I'm going to take the ties from the top and I'll hold on these and I'll just walk around, pulling on opposite corners, and then I'll lay that down and that flattens everything very nicely. So now I'm going to take the stakes out on the left side here. That's because the wind is coming from that direction and this is kind of blowing apart, but I'm going to fold this in half. And I'll tuck all of the cords in while I'm doing it. I'll fold it in half again. I'll pull those stakes out. Now I'm going to start at the back. I'll put the poles and the stakes in the middle, and I'll roll this up. And since this is a sunshade beach tent, it's very open, so it's not going to trap a bunch of air. Now I can stick this in the bag. So if it's wet when you put it away, make sure when you get home, you take it out and set it up again and let it air out and dry and then repack it. So that's all. Thank you. Bye.